When Jamie entered the vet's office with a giant box, nobody thought much of it. The little girl was probably just bringing her pet for a regular checkup. Jamie walked up to the assistant and explained that she didn't have an appointment, but that it was urgent. As soon as she opened the box, the assistant's face turned pale. She screamed for the vet and warned Jamie not to touch it. What on earth did Jamie bring to the vet? Jamie went to the vet, who had already heard a lot of noise from the waiting room. Jamie wasn't afraid. She had found this creature in the forest and was determined to save it. When the vet opened the box, he looked shocked and ran away with it. Jamie felt like the creature had been taken from her and needed help. Later, the vet returned and said he had locked the creature away safely. Jamie wanted to see it, but the vet said it was too dangerous. The police arrived, and Jamie felt like she was being treated unfairly. She heard sirens outside. The vet had locked the room with the creature inside. The police and environmental experts came to ask Jamie questions, but she was just 12 years old, so they called her parents. Jamie felt overwhelmed by everything that had happened. Jamie's parents arrived after about 15 minutes. Jamie refused to talk to the officers about what had happened. In the meantime, people in hazmat suits started to walk in and out of the room with the creature in it. When Jamie's parents saw that Jamie wasn't allowed to leave the vet's office, they got mad at the officers. How could they keep a child against her will? Then, they started explaining what had happened, and both of them were shocked. They quickly urged Jamie to tell them the whole story. Jamie herself had to be checked as well. They were informed that a doctor was coming in. Then, Jamie started talking. She said that she had been an animal lover for as long as she could remember. She loved nature and would often walk through the woods. Like so many other times, today was a day she'd be a helper to an animal in need. But things aren't what they seem. Jamie thought she'd seen it all. After all, she'd rescued dozens of animals, from birds to rodents, lost dogs and cats, and something resembling a wild boar. While on one of Jamie's walks through the woods outside of the city, she was sure she heard an animal crying for help. She paused in the woods, waiting to hear it again. It was only a few seconds until she heard the cry again. Jamie was determined to find the lost creature. It was then that she spotted the enormous thing. There was a small bed of moss lying on top of it. She was in shock. At first, she had no clue what she found. The creature seemed fine except for being alone and probably scared. But what could it be? The little moss bed that held this giant creature was strange and looked odd to Jamie. This wasn't something very likely to be found in nature. Perhaps some animal had built it as a sort of nest. She knew one thing had to be done. Making a makeshift carrier for the giant animal out of the cover of her travel bag, she carefully put the creature inside it. She felt a little sting in her hand. The creature had wounded her. She only now showed her hand to the police and the doctor. The spot on her hand had completely turned purple. She had flagged down a car that gave her a box and took her to the vet. This was important to get the exact location where she had found the creature. The woman was quickly found, thanks to tracking down her number plate. She also had a purple rash on her body. This definitely meant that whatever infected Jamie and the woman was airborne. At that moment, the vet started to cough as well. There was something strange going on. The creature probably made the vet sick as well. A team was dispatched to the forest. In the meantime, the vet, the woman, and Jamie were taken to the hospital to get treated. They needed to get blood samples before they could determine what they had to do about it. The search team quickly got to the forest location, and what they saw there horrified them. The place where Jamie had found the creature was completely dead. Every tree and plant around was completely gone. They had to be extra careful so that they would not hurt themselves. First, they had to contain the spread, which they did by creating a safe circle around the spot. A sample had to be collected so it could be taken to the lab for further testing. They had to act quickly. He heard that Jamie's condition had gotten worse. The officer got a quick escort to the lab from multiple vehicles. All the roads in the area were closed down, and a true team effort took place to make sure everything could go as fast as possible. The officer finally arrived at the lab after 15 minutes. He was taken inside by a couple of doctors in protective suits. He himself was placed in containment, and they quickly got to work on the sample. But they had to deal with the giant creature as well, who was still locked in the vet's spare room. There was no other option than to burn the creature. They could not guarantee that the creature could be safely transported, so they did not want to take a chance. They had already collected a sample, so they did not need the creature anymore. The researchers could determine that the creature did not come from this side of the world. It probably got transported by a plane from another country. They sent out the files to multiple countries to see if they could get some more information. After waiting for a while, they got called by another country's health department. They had recognized the creature. They had recently had an outbreak in their country as well. They told the researchers that they first had to burn everything that got into contact with the creature. A team was dispatched to the forest again to locally burn everything down. They burned the clothes as well as the people who got in contact with the creature. They got more information afterward. They had found a dangerous insect. Jamie had unknowingly saved a dangerous, disease-spreading insect that could really damage the environment as well as make a whole lot of people sick. The window of survival was very short. They had to quickly get the results of the blood samples. A couple of research departments started to work together to help Jamie and the rest. The news picked it up as well to spread awareness of what was going on. Within an hour, they received a whole lot of concerned calls from other people suffering from the same symptoms. This was getting way bigger than anyone ever expected, and multiple hospitals were quickly turned into emergency shelters. They had to find a cure and fast. This could not stay long this way. The creature was burned inside the room that it was locked into. There they found out that the creature had laid eggs. This explained why multiple people were now experiencing similar symptoms. They had to track down where the eggs went. A national hotline was open for anyone to call in with tips. They got a whole lot of them. People even went outside in groups to search for these insects. They found a couple of them in the city center and on the forest edge. Eventually, it seemed like everything was contained. Now they had to turn to the cure. The other country that helped them had already sent a plane with medication to slow down the process, but they had not found a cure yet. Luckily, Jamie's parents were immune to the infection. Doctors took blood samples from them and used their antibodies to treat Jamie. After a few hours, Jamie woke up completely healthy. She asked about the creature and the doctors told her everything. Jamie had saved the entire county by containing the creature before it could spread. The police eventually discovered that someone had deliberately placed the creature there to make a point to the government. This person was part of a larger group, and all of them were arrested for endangering public safety. When Jamie had fully recovered, she was called to the president's office. She was still in disbelief about her role in the events. The president praised Jamie for her bravery and encouraged others to be inspired by her actions. Jamie was honored by the president and received a medal. She grew up to be a passionate environmental activist, running her own shelter, and became a part of history. What do you think of Jamie's action? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you.